What's up, guys? Justin here with TheSketchUpEssentials.com. So in today's video, we're going to start teaching Claude how to model properly in SketchUp. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so we talked last week about how now you can create 3D models inside of Claude for SketchUp using the SketchUp MCP connector. If you don't remember how to set that up, you can go over into Claude under Customize, and you want to go into Connectors, and you want to make sure that you've added the Trimble SketchUp connector. If you don't see it in here, you want to click in here, you want to browse connectors, and you want to find Trimble SketchUp right here, and you just want to add it. So you should be able to click in here and click on Connect. You're going to need two things here. You're going to need a Claude account, which you can start with a free account. And obviously, the more you use it, the more tokens you'll need. So, I mean, obviously, if you are hitting those usage limits, then you can go to the paid. You're also going to need a SketchUp account as well that can integrate in with this. And so now that you have this set up, you can start using Claude to create SketchUp models. Okay, and so I think everyone is kind of making the same mistake with this. And we need to understand this is a brand new thing. And it's the model itself is still learning how to create things in 3D. And so I think a lot of people do what I did when this first came out. And that is they take an image of something, generally super complex, and they drop it in. And so what a lot of people do is they'll upload something like an image, and they'll say, I'd like to create a SketchUp model of this sofa. Right. And we'll go ahead and we'll put it on Opus. I know in the last video I didn't put it on Opus. It didn't really matter, but I got a lot of questions about that. Like, go ahead and put it on the newest version in here. And we're going to go ahead and click on this button. And so what it's going to do is it's going to go through and it's going to create a SketchUp model of the sofa, but it's not going to do a very good job. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's pull down the model that this created. But I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to be very good. All right, there we go. So if we take a look at this, like, this looks absolutely nothing like the sofa that we uploaded at all. It basically looks like a bunch of different rectangles in here with softened edges. So if we look in here and we look at the hidden geometry in here, it's basically created some triangulated edges over here, but these are basically just rectangles with softened edges. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to try going about this a little bit differently and see if we could actually teach Claude to start creating things that make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to give you kind of like my linear process for helping make this tool better. And I think there's some things that you're going to want to learn about. Claude doesn't really have a very good understanding of creating 3D models built in, so you kind of have to teach it things. Okay, and so I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with is we're going to start a little simpler, and we're going to follow the process and figure out where things go wrong with this. And we're going to start teaching Claude how to actually model things properly. So to start off, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to ask it to create something simple. So in this case, I'm going to go with a planter box. So I'd like to create a simple planter box in SketchUp. It should just be made up of 1, or we'll say 3/4 inch plywood panels. It should have 4 sides and a base. Dimensions 6 feet wide by, or 6 feet long by 2 feet wide by 12 inches tall. We're going to go ahead and hit enter. And if you're not specific about the way this is made up, then Claude will fill in the blanks for you. So the more specific you are, A, the faster this is going to go because the less reasoning it has to do. But also, it's going to try to, I mean, there are details that you need, right? If you went to a person and said, hey, I want to build a planter box, these are the dimensions. It would go through and it would have to go through, and I tried this without telling it to make these 3/4 inch plywood panels. And so one thing you can do is you can click on this little line right here, and you can actually see the reasoning that Claude is going through trying to create your model. So you can actually see how it's thinking and what the process is, which can be really interesting. So that's always kind of fun to look at to see what it's doing in the background while it works. Now let's take a look at what it created, and then we can move to something a little bit more complex because we need to analyze the steps and figure out what's going wrong and then fix them inside of Claude itself. So in this case, we're going to download this file. We'll open the link, then I'll hop into SketchUp and give it a look. And so this is interesting because it did create the planter box that I asked for it to, but it also created kind of a leftover additional planter box in here, which I don't really need. So one of the things we want to test is we want to test the ability to iterate. So I'm going to say, for some reason, this model contains 2 different planter. And so one of the things you can do is you can actually take a snip of what it creates and you can drop it in here. And you can just say, for some reason, this contains 2 different planter boxes instead of 1. Can you remove the one that doesn't match what I described? And this is interesting. I've not had this happen before, but we're going to go ahead and use it as a test for iteration, right? So we're going to say, okay, I don't know why you added 2 planter boxes in here. Go back and get rid of one of them so that I only have my planter box in here. And so this is interesting. It says basically that there were some leftover things from a prior session. So I did do some kind of testing for this video beforehand. So now let's take a look at what this did. And again, remember that this is a question of iteration. And this is something we can actually teach Claude as well, is what to do whenever you create a new SketchUp model. But for now, let's go ahead and let's open up this model. So I'm going to go to open right here. Take a look at this planter box. There we go. So this is the planter box I told it to create. So if we look at this, we can see that this is 2 feet wide. This is 6 feet long. This is 1 foot high, right? So in this case, that actually looks pretty good. So it did what we were looking for. Now we just want to make sure it doesn't look like there's any gaps or anything like that. It's nice that it grouped everything. We could, and it does actually, it labels all of the parts and pieces in here as well, which is actually helpful if you want to do something like, generating like a cut list or something like that. But now let's move on to a more complex planting bed. Okay, and so from this part forward, it's a little weird because I kind of worked through this process yesterday, just making sure that I was actually going to be able to improve Claude. But the problem is now my Claude has learned some things that it didn't know yesterday, so I'm not really showing you the process from scratch. And so what I've done, because I want you to learn this process, is I've basically told my Claude, hey, act like you didn't learn anything yesterday and make the same kind of mistakes you usually would. So act like you don't have any prior knowledge, which I know makes the video premise a little bit weird, but I think you're going to find it valuable. So stick with me. So at this point, we've created like our simple model, but now I want to come in here and I want to create a more complex planter box, right? So this is just an image that I pulled off of Etsy. And basically what I want this to do is I want this to go through and I want this to create the planter box based on this image right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, I want to create a SketchUp model of this planter box right here. And let's go ahead and let's not give it any other information at all. So I'm just going to hit the enter key right here, which is not the way to go about this, right? But we'll talk about a way to kind of get it more information in a minute and kind of iterate it a little bit better. And so what it's going to do, and again, you can always click in here and see what it's doing right here. So it's basically reviewing the SketchUp documentation, and it's kind of like working through how to create this. Right? So you can sit here and you can watch it if you want to. Sometimes it can get kind of a circular loop, so I don't necessarily recommend that you do that. But you can see what it's trying to do. So now it's going to go through and it's going to generate this. We'll come back and we'll look at the result. Okay, so basically what I did is I gave this an image and I said, hey, I want you to generate a new planter box that's more complex, right? I want you to kind of like follow the instructions that are, or follow the image that's in here and generate it structurally like this, right? And so it goes through and I gave it some information about width, length, and depth. And what it did is it created a new planter. We're going to go ahead and download that one and take a look at it. Okay, and so here's what it created. And you can see how you've got a little bit of a problem in here. And Claude actually flagged this, which is interesting. But the problem is it didn't realize that in some areas, these need to be cut off, right? You can't have a board running through a board like this. It just doesn't work. So what it needs to do is it needs to recognize that like, hey, when you're doing longer boards like this, these need to go in between different supports, right? So it did a decent job. Like if we go through and we look at the dimensions, like I think the dimensions generally match what was in the image. So that's always something that's worth checking though. So just throw some dimensions on here and just double check. And then if we look at the image, 18, 18, 48. Yeah. So this actually matched. But the next step is basically we need to fix this. So there's an issue in here that basically says the cap pieces overlap with the post the corner, and the AI doesn't understand that solids shouldn't intersect. Okay, and so based on that, my next step was we're going to try this a little bit of a different way. Instead of just giving it an image and saying, hey, build me a planter box, what I did instead is I said, I want you to look at this image and generate a prompt that describes the parts and pieces of the object in a way that it can understand and build it piece by piece, right? So instead of giving it an image and saying, hey, go build this, I said, hey, take this image and write me a prompt that I can use in order to generate this. And so basically what this did is this wrote a written prompt based on my image that describes exactly how this is built right here. And so basically what I've done is I've broken the entire process up into words instead of making it rely on an image. Okay, and so if I take a look at this and I download it, we can see kind of what the next step was. And so I'll just drag this in right here, and you can see how this actually did a way better job structurally of generating this. So they're the same dimensions, but now these kind of run between the different posts right here. So it did a better job. It's not perfect. So it missed some things like the cap and other things like that. But it did a much better job in here. And so I don't want to have to tell Claude every single time, hey, solids can't occupy the same space, right? I don't want to have to do that. And so what we're going to do is we're going to teach Claude how to do this so that it does it every time. And we're going to do that by creating what's known as a skill. Okay, and so this is something that actually kind of gave me a clue in here. Like this was actually from the description that Claude gave me. It said two solids occupying the same coordinates, looks okay visually, but a real modeler wouldn't make this error, right? And so what I said is I said, okay, well, I want to build a Claude skill that explains this to AI that we can call in the future that solids shouldn't intersect so that we don't have this problem later. Okay, and so basically what this has done is created what's known as a Claude skill. A Claude skill is basically information that Claude can call when it's doing tasks. So in this case, I've got this skill that basically is going to get called whenever I create something that should have non-intersecting solids. And you can see that down below. So you can actually click in here and see what that skill is, but basically it has a description and it's going to call this every single time that you're creating these kinds of models, right? And it's going to tell it when to use it, and it's going to contain detailed instructions on what exactly to do when creating these models. And so this is interesting, and I didn't tell it to do this, but basically it says after placing every part, ask if a carpenter could actually build this. So it's basically saying, hey, take these pieces, make sure that you can actually assemble them in the real world. So this is basically a skill that it's going to pull anytime it creates something with this kind of shape. And now what you can do with this is you can click in here and you can click on Save Skill. And when you save the skill, what it's going to do is it's going to save the skill in the Skills section over here. So notice how you can see this right here, my non-intersecting solids skill. So now we're going to hop back into Claude. We're going to give it a new image. We're going to test this with a couple images, but I'm going to say, please create a model of this planter box using our non-intersecting solids skill in SketchUp. Okay, and so sometimes before you even do anything with this, like read what it gives you, especially with the flagged items down below, right? Like for example, on the flagged items, it says that there's a floor to wall gap that we don't want. Like there is obviously going to be floor all the way around the bottom. It didn't model the top cap. If there's no top cap in the image, we don't need that. So basically what you can say is you can say, okay, for the flagged items, 1, you need to corner notch the floor, 2, no top cap needed, 3, yes, you need to show the slats. and we're going to hit the enter key. So sometimes you can basically just tell it to iterate before you ever actually like open it up. Like if it tells you that it's wrong, it's probably wrong, and you just tell it to go fix it. And I think it'll get better at things like this as we go, but then we'll take a look at this final result, and then I'll give you some thoughts about this overall process. Okay, so now let's take a look at what it created. There we go. So if we take a look at this, this actually did a pretty good job of creating the planter box based on what we asked it to do, right? Like this matches the image, the dimensions all match. So it did a pretty good job here. Now, one thing I want to test that's really interesting is now I want to use the non-intersecting solid skill for something other than a planter box, because we've been using this on the planter box, but now I want to do it with a table. Okay, and so I've got a table image in here, and I'm going to put everything that we've done today kind of together. So I want you to take this image and give a detailed prompt describing the table so that we can create an accurate SketchUp model matching this table. It should also use the non-intersecting solids skill that we created earlier. Okay, so this is interesting because it basically built me a markdown file, which I don't need, but it gave me a really detailed description of this. And if you looked at the description of what it did, right, like what it thought through in here, it actually noticed things like, okay, we've got some inset on the top of the table. In here, it counted the number of boards that were in here, and then it described them. And if you look at this file, this actually has like detailed instruction of where the pieces should be, right? So this is now very detailed, and it's something that Claude can actually read. Well, now we're going to say, okay, let's create the model based on this information. Now it's going to go through and it's going to generate the model based on what it gave it. But based on these instructions right here, like I would suspect this is going to do a really good job because it's written in the way that Claude is actually going to understand like what all the pieces are, where all the pieces go, the sizes, all of that stuff. So I would be very surprised if this wasn't a good model because it's already broken it down over here on the right hand side. Okay, and so if we look at this, it did a really good job of matching what was in the image, right? Like structurally, this looks pretty close to what it was given. So I think this did a really good job. Note there are some things in here, like you could inset the apron by a little bit. It notices that that's how things are built. But in general, I think this did a really good job modeling the table based on what we've built. Okay, so some thoughts on this. So obviously, like these are very simple shapes. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it would be way faster to just model this yourself. Absolutely, it would. I mean, but this is the same as having like an intern that comes in and works for you or something like that, or training new employees. Like, sure, you could do it all yourself for the rest of your life. But if you train someone else or something else to help you out with this, then it can be a big time saver. Now, the next step I want to follow along with is kind of figuring out how we can utilize things like Claude skills in order to create more complex models. I went simple in this video for a reason, and it's you kind of have to build those building blocks and make sure kind of step by step that the model's actually understanding what you're trying to do. Now, again, do I think this is a tool that's ready to replace the actual modeling process? Definitely not, but I do think that you can get more out of it by utilizing things like Claude skills than you can just by throwing out, hey, build me a model, and then it being wrong, and then just like moving on and modeling it yourself. I also think it's really interesting to consider the possibility of asking Claude to more treat this like instructions it would follow in like a Ruby script, and kind of like breaking down the process like that and seeing the models it can create. So I think I'll have some follow-ups to this in the future. But I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. What's your experience been with this tool so far? Are you having any kind of success? Do you have any tips? I just love having that conversation with you guys. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.